Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, November 28th, 2015. This is episode 1241. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by the Ring Video Doorbell. With Ring, you can see and talk to anyone at your door from anywhere in the world using your smartphone. It's like caller ID for your house. Right now, get free expedited FedEx shipping in time for the holidays when you go to ring.com/techguy. And by Epson's new EcoTank printers. With Epson's line of Super Tank all-in-one printers, you can print thousands of documents without running out of ink. EcoTank is loaded and ready to print when you are. Visit epson.com/ecotank to find out more. And by Bowl and Branch, the most comfortable sheets on the planet. If you order right now, they'll give you 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping. Go to BOLLANDBRANCH, bowlandbranch.com. Use the offer code TECHGUY. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smartphones and smartwatches. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. and Canada. Outside those areas, you can use Skype out to call us or some other VoIP that allows you to call phones. 8888 Ask Leo. Kim Schaffer's on the phones today doing phone duty. She'll be there. It's kind of like yard duty. You go, no, you kids, get out of there. Eat your lunch. Shut up. Drink your juice. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? I hope you did. Those of you listening in the U.S. of A. And then apparently Black Friday has spread like a blot, not just in the U.S. It's huge in England. I saw videos of people fighting over cheap TVs in Great Britain. So American culture, once again, wins out everywhere. Did you get some good deals? I went to an Apple store yesterday. I actually went there to bring something back to get repaired, not thinking that it might not be a good idea to go into a mall. But it wasn't too crazy. It was 4 p.m, so I guess everybody had gone home with their loot already. And lo and behold, I saw on the shelf, not one, not two, but 3 Apple Pencils. I'm still back ordered to December 10th for my Apple Pencil, so I had to pick one up to play with the iPad Pro. $100 for this pencil. It's hard. It's not a racket exactly, but it's a good business if you can find one. Well, it's made out of fine polyurethane. It's out of the same materials they make airplane windows out of, so it's it's good. And I've been waiting kind of with the iPad Pro to decide whether I love it or not. For $950 plus a $100 pencil. Oh, and let's not forget the $170 keyboard case. I don't even want to do the math on that. It's a very expensive deal, and for me, probably not that useful. I think I'm going to give it to my mom, who's an artist. And she will, I think, get something out of it because you really can do art. And it's funny, though, because I don't know, if you've been around a while, you remember when Apple first put out its laser printer, the Laser Writer, and they said desktop publishing comes home, or actually it wasn't called desktop publishing, was it? Magazine layout printing comes home, and now anyone can use desktop publishing software to create brochures and documents and flyers. And as soon as that happened, of course, people started using every ugly font possible. And they'd use 30 fonts in a single page, and it was horrific. And it reminded us that there is an art to desktop publishing, to layout, to make it look nice. And eventually everybody calmed down. Well, I think the same thing is now happening with the iPad Pro, because All of my friends who've got them are now posting on Facebook and Twitter. They're, well, let's face it, not very good art, because everybody says, well, look, I can do that. And it's kind of like the early days of desktop publishing. And in a way, that's good, because what that did is that empowered people to do all of their own stuff. And now, of course, it's commonplace, and kids in 5th grade are doing, beautiful reports with nice choices of fonts, and it's working great. So I think that this is fine, but brace yourself as all of your dweeby friends show their lack of art ability with sketches. They tend to be of superheroes. I think there's a lot of guys. Maybe it's just my peers who are comic book fans who always dreamt that they would someday draw for the comics, and now here's their chance. The iPad Pro is a very interesting idea. Its thing is huge. It's giant. It's very expensive. It is I think a specialty product, and the pencil hasn't changed that, because I have no artistic ability. So it's not of value to somebody like me. I'm gonna stick with I was thinking about this. I really like touch, and I would love to have touch. A touch operating system. So my Surface Book, my Windows 10 Surface Book from Microsoft, that is exactly what I want. So a laptop, but it has touch. And for lightness and portability, I really like that MacBook. So light and so thin, so much lighter and thinner, really, than the iPad Pro. Once you put a keyboard on it, I think I'm happy with a computer. In other words, did you pick up any? Were there some amazing Black Friday deals? I know people. Where I saw a Westinghouse 55-inch TV for $275. I can't. How could that be good? Could it be? I don't know. It's a great price. It's probably okay. This is what happens with technology, isn't it? I remember the first big screen TVs, the first flat big screen TVs I saw, plasmas. This was 15 years ago. It was I think 50-inch plasma. It was $10,000. $10,000. And it got dim in a year. It was dimmer and dimmer, and it burned in the logo of the television network I was working at. And it was, after a few years, you wish you hadn't bought it. $10,000 later. Now, $275 for a bigger TV that probably looks 10 times better. That's progress. I hope you didn't get in a fist fight to get one, though. Here's a deal you can get right now. And I don't know. This is an interesting deal. Amazon has cloud storage. That's one of the things people like is Dropbox and iCloud. People love the idea that you can store stuff in the cloud and leave it there, access it from all your devices. Amazon, of course, has the iPhone app and the Android app, and they have Fire apps, and you can use it on your desktop. Unlimited cloud storage. They're selling it right now for $5 for a year. It's probably a good deal for Amazon, though, because in a year, after you've uploaded 50 gigabytes to your free unlimited, or cheap unlimited cloud storage, then you're going to have to start paying for it. And they'll probably make it up then, I guess. But it's hard to turn. I bought it. It's hard to turn it down. Unlimited. This is the thing that Microsoft had to pull back on. Remember, if you subscribe to Microsoft Office 365, which I do, unlimited cloud storage on their OneDrive solution. And then the accountant said, what have you done? This is costing us a lot of money. So Microsoft said, never mind. It'll be a terabyte. The funny thing is, if they just said a terabyte to begin with, that for most people, given how long it takes to upload stuff, and 1,000 gigabytes is for most people unlimited. It's plenty. It's not everything you own, but it's everything you'd conceivably want to and have time to upload to the cloud. So they could have said that. But unlimited sounds so much better. And then of course, people started using it for unlimited storage, and Microsoft freaked out. They said, no, we didn't mean unlimited. Just, isn't that the new thing, isn't it? Unlimited bandwidth, as long as you stay under 5 gigabytes, that kind of thing. Well, I don't know. I presume that Amazon means it when they say $5 a year for unlimited. I think that's a good Black Friday deal. Tell us about your Black Friday deal. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Maybe I can help you if you purchase something, figure out what to do with it. 888-827-5536. Our website is techguylabs.com. At the website, you'll find a link to our chat room, irc.twit.tv. You can join us in the chat room. Those 500 to 1,000 people are very important to the show because they're really kind of the brain trust. It's as if, imagine, you're not just calling me and asking me questions on a radio show. We have this brain trust of pretty self-identified geeks, pretty geeky people who are sitting there just waiting to be challenged, to be stymied, to be stumped. Let's try to do that. There's very few questions they can't get the answer to. And if they can't, then there's a million people listening who probably can help. So if you've got a problem, and by the way, I should emphasize this. Sometimes people call and say, I feel so dumb asking this. Please, don't hesitate. The dumb questions are the best questions. Those are the ones everybody else is wondering and feels too silly to ask. Oh, everybody must know that. I'm not going to ask that. Plus, I look good when I answer this. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's get to work right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's not Ask Leather. Ask Leo. And Kim Schaffer is here. The phone. What did I call you? I liked that name.
Oh.
I forgot now. Because Phone Ranger's taken
by Heather, so they came up with something different.
What's your nickname?
Remember it. Maybe somebody in the chat room remembers. Or they could come up with something.
Yeah, well, we should come up with a nickname for you. Kim's going to be here all day. By the way, we're going to keep recording after the show's over because we're preparing for our Christmas shows. So I'm going to be out of town.
Lucky you.
A couple of days after, the day after Christmas, I think.
A cruise?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going. I think this might have been a little misguided. We're going to the Caribbean, but we're starting in New Jersey.
That's not where you want to start.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah.
Maybe Florida?
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't really thinking New Jersey in late December, early January,
Snow,
and then
right?
the Atlantic, and that it might be a little stormy and chilly, and then you have to have dress for two different climates because you're freezing, and then you get to
You're gonna have your parka and your board shorts.
Yeah, but the reason I went is I want to go on this ship. It's a brand new ship. It's called the Anthem of the Seas. First of all, it's gigantic. It's like an apartment building on the water, a floating apartment building plus a mall. But it's the most high-tech ship ever. And they claim to have like full-speed internet, which is unusual on a cruise ship.
Very.
They claim you have an app that you unlock your door with. You make reservations at the restaurants, which is a good thing because there's 5,000 people on this ship. You kind of need something. And then they have roller skating and bumper cars, and they have iFly where you fake parachute. And I just want to see like what the state of the art. See, I'm the tech guy. Mm-hmm. This is my excuse. And
write it off.
Yeah. Hey, wait, if I talk about it enough, I probably could.
Yeah.
So you're going to be hearing a lot more about this group.
Exactly.
No, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to see what the state of the art is. And then, but they're only sailing out of New Jersey, and I think that's because there's a big population there, so they can a lot of people just get on they drive get on the boat and go for a ride. Anyway, Kim, enough about me. What about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It
Nice?
was great. I think I was probably right around the corner from you.
Really?
Grandma lives here in Petaluma.
Oh, nice.
Like literally.
Oh,
right
I didn't
around
know
the
that.
corner. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you had some time with Grandma, and then did you go shopping yesterday?
We don't want to talk about my experience.
You got a new iPhone. It's gold, rose gold.
I got it, but it was another level of hell to get it.
Did you go to the Apple store to get it?
No, I was an idiot and went to Costco.
That must have been very interesting. But you got a good price?
Well, I didn't even know that they were having a deal, but you get a $250 gift card back.
Oh, that's good. That's a good price.
Yeah. But Verizon's computers were down.
Yeah, of course, because everybody else.
I think I might now hold the record for standing in Costco longer than anybody who's not employed there.
How long?
I was there from noon to 6:30.
Oh. But wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. The first iPhone, I got in line about 2 in the morning. The last year, the year before, I was in line at about 3 in the morning. I mean, this is traditional.
But I'm not one of those crazy people.
You
I
are
just
now.
wanted my phone.
Hey, don't deny it. You are now. Well, you got it. How do you like it? iPhone 6s
I could
Plus.
use the entire 3 hours picking your brain on how to set it up because I have no idea. I have no contacts.
I'll help you do
all
that.
All that stuff didn't
in between
translate.
So. We're also doing. We have a show called iOS Today that's all about iOS, and we're going to do for our holiday special. We're going to set up all your new Apple stuff: an iPad, an iPhone, an Apple Watch, and Apple TV. We're going to show you from opening the present to getting it working. So you'll have to watch that episode. Yeah. But I'll help. You know what? You have friends in the tech space.
I do have friends in the tech world.
So I'll be glad to help you.
In the tech
Yeah, the first thing to do is sign up for those accounts. You know, if you go to the settings and you'll see accounts, that you can sign up for your mail and your contact accounts.
I did that, and I thought that
it should
was
synchronize
like,
automatically.
Yeah, but for some reason I only have like 29 contacts in my Gmail account, even though I have
How many
thousand.
How many times when people are talking about tech have we heard the phrase, for some reason, it doesn't
work? All my
work.
contacts on my phone are not actually on the new phone.
For some reason. We'll get it working, I promise you. The day is not yet done.
I tried to use that Move to iOS app, and I tried.
Oh, you were on an Android device.
Yeah, and I tried like 20 times, and it wouldn't do it. It said try again later. So. I don't know.
Yeah, the worst time to get an iPhone is when everybody else is getting an iPhone, because all the servers, the Verizon servers, are jammed, and I think it'll get easier and easier. But let's talk. Let's talk.
Let's talk to Robert, who, it is the time of giving, and he wants to know about what might be a very popular gift this year.
Good idea. Thank you. And stay tuned, Kim.
I will.
All is not lost. Hey, Robert, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hello, this is Robert, and I'm wondering about the iWatch, if I should get one or not, or wait. And I saw there's another smartwatch out there, and I'm wondering, is it better than the iWatch?
Oh, that's a good question. So are you an iPhone user?
Yes.
Okay. So the Apple Watch really, first of all,
new iPhone user, sorry.
Yeah, welcome. So the Apple Watch really requires an iPhone. So that's always the first question is you do have an app, and you have a recent model iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone 6.
Yeah, as long as it's, I think was the 5 or later, you need a recent model iPhone. 6 will work just fine. A smartwatch, I'm going to say something about smartwatches in general, not just Apple's, but smartwatches in general. They do a couple of things. People often use them as fitness bands, so they can monitor your steps, and all of them do this. Some of them will monitor your heartbeat, and then they tie back to the phone and keep track of that stuff. So they're nice for keeping track of how active you are. Some of them do more. Apple Watch, for instance, doesn't have to, but by default will ask you to stand up every hour. But, that's interesting. It's not a bad idea. It gets people at least off their feet, reminds them that there's something else besides sitting at your desk. The other thing that all smartwatches do is notifications. They will, and this is, I think, when people say, here's why you want a smartwatch, you don't have to take your phone out of your pocket as much, because the watch will tell you, oh, somebody texted. You can even respond to the text and stuff like that. I just saw a study that says Apple Watch owners look at their wrists 60 to 80 times a day. But most of the time what they're looking at is time. What time is it? Okay. And I bet you watch wearers probably do that at least 30 or 40 times a day. And then the other thing they're doing is checking to see, what was that buzz? Who notified me? Who was talking to me? So if any of that stuff sounds intriguing to you, then a smartwatch might make sense. Apple Watch can do a few other things. For instance, you can make and receive phone calls on the watch. It's got a microphone and a little tiny speaker. It looks a little silly. You look like Dick Tracy, and the sound isn't great, but it's convenient. It's at least enough to say, "Hey, I'm in a meeting right now. I'll call you right back." So for that, it's not. If somebody's asking, should I get the watch? I generally say no. If you don't know what you would use it for, if you don't know you have to have it. There's a third reason to get the Apple Watch that Apple doesn't put in their ads, but I think is a genuine reason to get it, to show that you're in the Apple camp. This is my team. I'm on the Apple team. And when you see somebody else with an Apple Watch, you go, oh, you're on the team. And you have nice conversations about, hey, does your watch work? Do you
think there's a better watch coming out in the near future?
Yeah, let me talk. Well, that's a good one to talk a little more about when we come back. How about that? Because I have to take a break. Other watches, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hey, our show today brought to you by Ring. I love Ring because the Ring lets me know who's at my door. Let me show you what's in the box. So it's a doorbell. Oh, big deal, Leo. What's the big deal about a doorbell? Well, it's kind of a special doorbell. First of all, it's got a really nice chime. And this doorbell is a exact replacement for the doorbell you have. If you have a wired doorbell in your home, you just take off your old, guarantee you cruddy looking button, and you'll have two wires coming out of the door. You put this over it, you wire up those two wires, and you put the Ring doorbell on top of that. The nice thing about this is it doesn't have to be a wired doorbell. This has a lithium battery in it that you can charge via USB to last a year, and you just recharge it every year. And you still get the same benefit of this. Now, what happens? Okay, once you've replaced your dumb doorbell with this smart doorbell, this is a camera, wide-angle camera. It's got a speaker on it, and it's got a microphone on it. Now, when somebody rings your doorbell, not only does it ring your chimes in the house, it also rings the Ring app on your tablet or your smartphone, even if you're not at home, because the Ring video doorbell is tied to your Wi-Fi. You can talk to the person at the door, say, yeah, leave the package there. I'm in the bathtub, whatever white lie, what little fib you want to tell. If it's a bad guy, you should definitely say, hey, I'm in the back of the house. What can I do? Because he's going to run away. See, it turns out 95% of all home burglaries happen in the daytime. Bad guy comes to the front door, rings the doorbell, makes sure you're not home. When you don't answer, goes around the back, breaks in. This way, you're answering even if you're at work. And even if you don't answer, you got a nice crystal clear video. Always handy. A little later on, you can see and speak with visitors. It has motion detection, too. They don't have to ring the doorbell. So you know when people are on your stoop. This is great because, now we're all getting packages delivered. You can accept the package with the Ring video doorbell and keep an eye on it, too, which is awesome. Works with iOS and Android. They have now a Windows Phone version, too, which is really fantastic. And now I'm no handyman. I installed this myself. They give you everything you need, including a level and the drill bit if you need to do that. You probably won't. Screwdriver and the special proprietary bit that makes sure that the Ring video doorbell stays where you put it. I love this. $200, and we've got free priority FedEx shipping for you when you go to ring.com/techguy, RING, ring.com/techguy. The Ring video doorbell is such a great idea. This company is going gangbusters. Richard Branson of Virgin just invested $28 million in Ring because he was so blown away. There was a guy visiting him on his private island, answered his door, and Branson said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I have this doorbell, and I'm answering my door." He said, "But you live in New York, and you're here in the Virgin Islands." "Yeah, I know." He said, "I need to know more about this." Found out about the company and invested $28 million. Okay, I think that's a good. By the way, if you don't already have a wired doorbell, like you live in an apartment or something, they even sell the Ring chime that plugs into the wall. Now you've got this wireless doorbell plus all of the other benefits. Ring.com/techguy. It is awesome. Everybody at the studio has Ring now. So it's so funny because my phone goes off and they think their phone's going on. It's really fun. I love it. There's lots of uses, too, that you might think of. For instance, I always know when my teenage daughter, she's not a teenager anymore, but she was just outside our door. She still comes home sometimes a little late. And I can say, hey, you came home at 3:27 a.m. I have the video right here. Ha ha! I don't have to do that anymore. But I wish I'd had this when they were younger. It's really great. The Ring video doorbell. Get it at ring.com/techguy. You'll get free FedEx shipping. Great gift, by the way, especially if you have elders in the family and you want to give them some peace of mind. They don't, it's great. Ring.com/techguy. Highly recommended. We love our Ring. Rings the thing. Actually, it rings my Apple Watch, too. That's kind of cool. I don't think I can talk on the Apple Watch. I have to get my phone out, but I can at least see that somebody's at the door. Which is nice. You're watching TV, and you don't want to, and you go, oh, yes. Also, you can tell, like, when somebody's coming and going and stuff. You really love that. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Scott Wilkinson has the Thanksgiving weekend off. Good for you, Scott. He'll be back next week to talk home theater, as he always does, or usually does this time. But I've been talking to Robert about a good subject, actually, because I think we can now, the smartwatch technology is fairly mature. We've seen a number of different smartwatches. If you have an iPhone, as we were talking, you probably want the Apple Watch. That's the most functional with an iPhone, although you could use a Pebble or an Android Wear Watch. Both of those have apps for the iPhone, but they're not nearly as functional. So, if you have to save, the problem with the Apple Watch is it's not inexpensive. The least expensive version, the sport model, is $350, and it goes all the way up to $18,000 if you want it in solid gold. I kid you not. But the Apple Watch is pretty functional. A lot of people who use it for fitness really like it because its heart rate meter is pretty accurate. I've verified that, even when you're working out, which you can't say of a lot of heart rate meters. And things like being able to navigate, use the map feature and to call an Uber, things like that. Those are pretty cool. Android Wear does a lot of that, however. You'll also see ads. I think they're doing a lot of advertising. If you have a Samsung phone, and only if you have a Samsung phone, the Galaxy Gear 2 is a pretty nice watch. It's got its own operating system. It's neither Android Wear nor Apple Watch OS. It has a ring on it. That's how you control it. One of the negatives on the Apple Watch is there's two different buttons, and there's touch, and there's all different. It's complicated in a way that I don't think it needed to be. Android Wear is much simpler. What do you want to do with it, Robert?
Well, fitness is one thing, and the other thing is I have two phones. Basically, I have a work phone and I have a personal phone. The work phone is my email, and I get all my email and stuff from there. But my text messages all come on my personal phone, so I'm kind of trying to, stuck between should I use it for email, and that's what I use during the day. But then at night, I'm always on text messages and talk to my daughter or something like that. So.
I don't think it'd be a really great business tool. You can't see the whole message. It's not great for email, and you can't really respond. You can, though, see and respond to text messages. You can also send audio, which is kind of cool. So you can, if the people you're sending messages to have an iPhone, you can actually send a little audio clip, which is great. Or you can dictate a message. It also has canned messages.
Because I will be using it for personal. I'll have my text messages and all that. My heart rate will be on my personal phone as well. And
for fitness, it's great. Battery life has been very good. I think the style is great. I like round watches, but this is the Apple Watch looks pretty good. I think it's not a bad choice, and especially if fitness is your goal.
And the last question is there anything new? Is there anything of new coming out, within the next year or something? If I buy the Apple Watch, is it came out the Apple Watch 2.0 next month, and then I'm behind again?
Yeah, I don't think so. Apple, but of course, remember, I don't have an inside track to Apple. Far from it.
Sure.
But Apple, I think Apple, they learned something from the iPad. We all know what the upgrade cycle is on phones. We've had these smartphones for a while. It's about 2 years, but they can upgrade every year to kind of keep the cycle going. The iPad, it turned out, people don't buy new ones every year, not far from it, or even every 2 years. They've learned, because it was a new category they didn't really know, they've learned that really people keep their iPads for years, much like a computer. We don't know about the watch yet, and I don't think there's going to be a compelling reason to upgrade the hardware. So I think we probably won't see an Apple Watch in 2016, a new one. If we do, it'll be at the end of 2016, and I suspect it'll be the end of 2017 before we see a new Apple Watch. So I think you're safe to buy now.
Okay. I appreciate your help.
Thanks and of course I have no inside track. Apple hates me. So it could very well be just to spite me, they might release one next month. Just to get Leo. No, I don't think they would do that. These I think they're learning a lot. And I think they're still learning. They did do a big upgrade in the Watch OS. There's one other thing the watch does, the Apple Watch does that I like a lot, and that's Apple Pay. If you find now, most people are not using Touch to Pay yet, even though, as of last month, pretty much every store in the U.S. has added that capability because they had to upgrade their system to chip and pin. The ability to use these chips in your credit card. Actually, it's chip and sign still. It's not chip and pin. But you probably noticed all your credit cards got upgraded. They have a little chip in them now, and so the stores were, shall we say, strongly encouraged to upgrade their payment terminals to support chip and pin. The reason being that the least secure part of the chain is the one that's responsible for fraud. So if a merchant doesn't upgrade to chip and pin and there's fraud on your credit card, guess who pays? The merchant. They don't like that. So they're going to upgrade. And when they're upgrading to pin, they're going to upgrade to touch as well. So I think you're going to see almost everywhere, except the very smallest merchants, will now support touch. And if you have an iPhone or an Android phone with an NFC chip in it, you can tap your phone on the terminal if you've attached credit cards to it, and you can pay that way. And there's some good reasons to do it. It's more secure. The merchant does not get any of your information at all. It limits the transaction really to the merchant getting a token, which is unique but not identifying, that they get the money from. But the transaction is between you and your bank, and then the bank makes sure the merchant gets the money. So for privacy reasons and security reasons, and I think we're very aware of that now after the Target breach and so forth, it's probably smart to use these tap-to-pay solutions instead of a credit card. And if you have the Apple Watch and a late model iPhone, and you've put credit cards into your Apple Watch, you can use it to tap to pay. So that's very convenient. You go click, you just tap it. You don't have to get your wallet out. You don't have to even get your phone out, and you can pay through your watch. You press the button and hold it, and it chooses which credit card you're going to use. So that's pretty cool. I like that feature, and I think on Black Friday that would have saved some time if everybody were using tap to pay. More secure, more private, and probably the most interesting reason, although I think still so few people actually use tap to pay. Have you used it yet? It's a little. There's a little bit of a speed bump, isn't there? The first time, it's like, I think it's one of the reasons Google yesterday was donating $2 to education every time you used Android Pay, and today, from today to the end of the month, I think $1 every time you use Android Pay, basically giving back the money they make on Android Pay and more to charity through Donors Choose. And I think that the idea is to say, hey, try it, because once you use it a couple of times, and once you kind of learn the ropes, once you get over the fear that the clerk is going to say, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to steal that? Tapping your watch, really? Once you get over that fear, it's actually really convenient and nice. And it turns out almost everybody now, the clerks don't stare at you. They don't think you're weird. I remember when I first got the Apple Watch and I used it, I think it was at Whole Foods. It was one of the few places you could use it. The clerk said, wow, that's the first time I've seen that. Do it again. I said, no. Nice try. But it's kind of magical when it all works well. You just tap it and boom, and you've paid and you walk out the door. Unfortunately, a lot of credit cards still require you to enter a PIN and sign. You still have to say, do you want cash back? You still have to do all those things. I wish you could just kind of wave it and walk out the door. We're not quite there yet. What do you think on Black Friday was? If this is the first Black Friday with chip and sign, I was at Walmart yesterday, and I forgot. You have to stick the card in the bottom, right? And you have to wait. It's slow, isn't it? What was your experience of using that? Is this the first time you've used that with your new chipped credit card? 8888 Ask Leo. We can talk about that. Anything on your mind? Holiday shopping? Things you got and wish you could give back? I think somebody has one of those Westinghouse TVs. Well, we'll talk about that coming up. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Mark is next in Fontana, California. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Leo. I have a Dropbox account, and I was wondering if it's possible to password protect one shared folder, with the idea that every time you click on that folder to try to look at what's inside, it would ask you for the password. Would that be possible?
For you want to do that to share stuff, you mean?
Well, specifically for a shared folder that I have amongst other users, and I would like that we know other curious eyes see.
Yeah.
So they know the password for it when they want to access it.
And you're using the public link feature of Dropbox to do that?
No, it's a shared folder amongst us only.
I see.
A link. It's a folder that appears in their own Dropbox.
Got it. That's a good question. I don't know if Dropbox offers that feature.
I checked. They have for the Pro version, but it's
the business.
Kind of what you kind of described, just a link to it, not the folder itself.
Yeah. Another way you could do it very easily is within the shared Dropbox folder. You'd lose some synchronization capabilities, but within the Dropbox folder, you could, scramble. You could encrypt the files that are in there. Zip will do that, for instance, put a password on the zip file. The problem with doing that is if somebody wants to add a file to the zip, they have to do it manually. Dropbox won't automatically synchronize. And this is the problem with encrypting in general, is that as soon as you do that, you don't have as much functionality. This is why Dropbox doesn't use encryption in the same way as some other services do. And they've been dinged for that a little bit. I think unfairly, but I think it's important to understand that somebody who works at Dropbox could look at your data. It's not completely private, which is why it's not HIPAA compliant. So you could encrypt privately yourself. You could use a service that's designed for this, like ShareFile, which is designed specifically for this purpose. And ShareFile is HIPAA compliant for that reason. You could share a file or folder with people and limit the access to just those people.
Yeah. Great. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I should mention ShareFile was a sponsor for a long time of the show, and Citrix, the company who owns it, continues to be. You can do file permissions in Dropbox Pro and Dropbox for Business. So view-only permissions means they'd have to log into their Dropbox account to see it, and they'd have to be approved. But there's no, as you mentioned, in Dropbox Basic, there's no way to do it. So that's just that's something that Dropbox wants to charge you for, a little extra for. ShareFile is really more, I think if security is what you're looking for, there are other solutions that might be a little more secure than Dropbox, a little more private. Michael in Santa Clarita. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. So you got a computer. It came with Windows 7.
Correct.
Did you ever get the thing from Microsoft that says, hey, would you like to upgrade?
Of course. It is a crazy story. Let me explain something. As many Costco customers, back in May, I didn't want Windows 8, and Costco was one of the only companies at that time that I know I can walk into a store and get Windows 7. I bought a Dell, well, I guess I'm not sure if I should say that.
Oh, you can say anything you want. Go ahead. I like to know the specifics.
This is a great one. 25 hours on the phone. But I bought an XP 8700.
25 hours on the phone with Dell?
With Dell, Microsoft on the concierge service, and I'm still not resolved.
Do they have an idea of what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Let me just back up a second. When I bought the computer in May, I opened the box, and listening to you for years and being a little bit, I'm not a technician like you, but I open the box and I go, oh, the restore disk is 8.1. And I'm like, wait a minute. If I need to refresh my computer back to 7 before 10, where's the 7? So long story short, 5 hours later, I got Costco and Dell to send me a 7 disk, just in case, not knowing this was going to happen. So back on the 20th of this month, I decide, and I've had the window going, hey, let's upgrade to 10. And
right.
And this isn't the only computer in the house. So the other computers upgraded easily. So I decided around 4 o'clock on a Friday to upgrade. Well, 5 hours later, and I want to say the concierge service is wonderful, but there's only so much they can do.
They should be wonderful because you paid them for that, right?
Yes. But here's the issue. When you do have a problem, and they should be able to pick up the phone and say, this customer has a problem, and we've heard stuff we've never heard before emitted by Dell or Microsoft, take care of this guy. Not that, and they don't have that power. That's something that that I can't explain.
Does anybody have a theory or an explanation of what's going on?
Yes, and
because I only have 2 minutes left, so if you can condense.
The long story short is Dell sold these computers to Costco with the microprocessor. I guess the BIOS burned it with 8.1 only. So the computer does not know it ran 7. And I heard and it's been recorded. It's not from me.
All right, let me stop you. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Let me ask, can you, have you tried, has somebody walked you through the process of getting the Windows 10 ISO from the Microsoft site using their media creation tool? So you've done that?
They couldn't do it. Microsoft could not do it. That's what I'm telling you. 25 hours. They said that Dell held the key code, basically ransom. I was on the phone with Microsoft, Dell. Long story short, Leo, they wiped me out. They not only left me on Saturday with a computer that now says it's not running legal software, and they wiped all my data out. Luckily, I do have Carbonite, but it didn't.
Hallelujah.
It didn't back up since May. But the reality is, I'm calling to tell people that Dell also now I have all the emails to support it. Sent me a board in the mail wants me to change my motherboard out. And, I mean, 8.1. I'm not joking, Leo. This is one for the records. I wouldn't be. I was trying to call you on last week during the week, not knowing that you didn't answer the phone. But I have everything to support it. And the thing that I want to tell the people out there, if you go to upgrade from 10 or from 7 to 10 and you bought a Dell computer or any computer and you have any problems that doesn't let you, it is because the BIOS says you're running 8.1, and Microsoft even admitted to it that you cannot go from 8.1 BIOS even if your computer is running 7 to 10.
Yeah, no, I understand. So what you need to do is take the recovery discs. I'm sure you've tried this, but I'm going to say it. Take the recovery discs that came with your Dell. Hope you didn't throw those out, the 8.1, and do a recovery. Get it back to the way it would have been from the factory, and then try the upgrade. I can't imagine that would not work. The issue, I understand, is activation. And Microsoft, by the way, could flip a switch and activate that. So I would go to Microsoft and say, it's not activating, and see if they'd activate for you. I think I understand what's going on. You want to restore that computer to the 8.1 and then try the upgrade. This is an unusual situation. Most people aren't going to run into this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smartphones and smartwatches and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Joanna is next in Marina Del Rey. Hello, Joanna.
Hello, Leo. Thank you so much for your program. I learn something every time I listen to you, and I listen to you every weekend.
Oh, man, you must be super smart.
Don't I wish?
Thank you. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, my question has to do with dual SIM card phones. I can't find anything in the stores, and they've told me to look online, which I've done, and I've found a couple of brands. I wondered if you could help me pick the right one, and I'll give you my situation if you need that.
So the idea is, and these phones don't usually sell in the U.S., they're widely used in India, for instance, has many, many carriers, so many that you may be in one geographic area and then go across town and you'll be changed to another carrier. And so these phones that are sold in these areas have 2 SIM cards, one for each, so you get multiple carriers in there. And then the phone will, I guess, somehow magically choose the right SIM card. I've never seen these sold in the U.S. Are you traveling? Is that why you need this?
Well, I live 6 months in France and 6 months here, and I just don't want to pay that huge price to get and I don't want my friends to have to pay anything to call me when I'm over there or when I'm here. So what I do now is I have 2 phones. They both work in both countries, but then I have to pay the roaming each time somebody calls. So I prefer just to have the one phone and the 2 SIM cards so I can pick which one I want depending on where I am. And people can call me on the one or the other. It's cheaper.
What kind of phone do you want?
A smartphone, a nice one, I suppose. I can pay, I guess, enough to get one. I'm going to have to, I guess.
Yeah, well, now here's one that's inexpensive that I like quite a bit. It's from OnePlus at oneplus.net. It's called the OnePlus 2, and it has dual SIM cards. Because it's sold globally. It's a Chinese company, and this is another thing that often happens in China as well. They want multiple SIM cards. I have it. I've never used it with dual SIM cards. I don't know how the handoff works, but I guess it makes sense that if it can't see one carrier, it'll automatically switch over to the other. I don't know if you have to go into the settings and say, hey, use this carrier or not. You could certainly do that. So I don't know if it handles it automatically. But since you're only, you're in France, it wouldn't be a big deal to go into settings and say, hey, use the French SIM right now.
Yeah. So what about the Motorola and all those other people? Are they not as good, or do you just think it's not worth the money?
Well, it's a good phone, and it's $350.
Which one?
The OnePlus 2. It's a very nice kind of state-of-the-art phone. The only thing the only knock on it is this. Actually, I wouldn't even say that's a knock. The screen is a little bit, if you compare it to an OLED screen, it's an LCD screen. It's maybe a little bit not quite so strong in colors. The contrast isn't so high. Okay. But other than that, I think it's a very good phone at a very affordable price. Oh, there's one other negative. It's kind of hard to get because they have an invite system, although of late, they've at least one day a week they're offering it for sale. So if you just do a little search on OnePlus 2, I think you should be able to find it.
Is that letter one or what?
ONE.
Yeah.
ONEPLUS.net, I'm pretty sure is the website. Let me just check real quickly. And I have one, and I really like it.
Huh.
And wait a minute. They're doing Black Friday sales right now, and so you don't need an invite.
Oh, great.
So this is I think it's an affordable phone that is very high quality, and it does have the dual SIM.
Does it have to be unlocked or anything? I mean,
Yes, you do, and these are unlocked. You don't want to buy it from a carrier because the carrier will say, well, you can only use it with me. That's called carrier locking. And obviously, that makes no sense on a dual SIM phone. So any dual SIM phone should be carrier unlocked.
And there's no problem with the frequencies here in the U.S. and
No,
France.
I've used it just fine. I used it on T-Mobile, but I think it would work with any GSM carrier, AT&T or T-Mobile. Yeah, I think this is probably your best bet. I mean, there are other ones. Tend to be low-end phones have dual SIMs because they're sold in developing world primarily, and so they can't sell really expensive phones. You won't find a dual SIM iPhone, for instance.
I see a Motorola Moto G 2nd generation.
Yeah, the G is a nice phone. I think this is better than the G.
Okay.
I like the G a lot, but I think this is a little bit better than the G.
There's also a Samsung Galaxy S4. I think I see.
That's pretty old.
Oh.
Yeah, the current is the S5 or the Note 5.
Okay, great. That's been real helpful.
I think this is the one you want, the OnePlus, and they're selling it right now without an invite, which means you can get it. And the price is very affordable. Don't get the OnePlus X. I don't think you'd be able to. That's the one I kind of like. That's even less expensive, but I think that's even harder to get. It's the other thing that's a little weird about the OnePlus is it uses a different charging connector, one that's going to be the future, but is not yet the present, called Type-C. It comes with a charger you can use, and you can get Type-C cables. It's a standard. Eventually, all of them will be Type-C. Now, there is a Windows phone, Smitty's reminding me, that Microsoft makes, the 950 and the 950 XL. They will be dual SIM. So you can get those as well if you like the Windows Phone operating system. The OnePlus 2 is an Android device. The only knock on the Windows Phone, which I by the way, think the Windows phones are great, and this 950 has the best camera ever, really excellent camera, is the limited number of apps. And the one that's, to me, kind of the deal breaker is banking apps. Most of the banks have stopped making versions of their apps for Windows Phone, which is crazy. But if I can't use my Bank of America or USAA apps on my phone, I think that's a real disadvantage. It also doesn't support, Google doesn't support it. So Google services are limited. There are quite a few. The chat room's giving me links to a number of places you can find dual SIM smartphones, including a buying guide from a British company on the 20 best dual SIM smartphones of 2016. I don't know which ones they recommend, but it also describes how the handoff works. 8888 asks, Leo, that's the phone number. Have fun now. Let's go to Mark, Topeka Canyon in California. Hey, Mark, you got that Westinghouse deal.
Yeah, I went to Target. It was actually like $250, not $275.
And it was the 50-inch?
55-inch, 1080p.
Wow. $250. Well, how do you like it?
Well, I tore down my other TV, unbolted everything, bolted it back up, and there's great big stripes down the center of it.
It's broken.
It was on the end of the pallet when the guy handed it to me, and it looked like it might have been manhandled a little bit.
Yeah, it was. Because those stripes are areas where the connections are broken or the screen is damaged. There's no way to fix that without replacing the screen.
Exactly. And I understand it's a throwaway TV. I've done this at Black Friday before, got the $200.
Yeah, but it should work for $250. It should work.
It should, and so I called Target to ask if I could exchange it, and they're out of them. So they've offered kindly to give me my money back, but I want my 2 hours back of standing in line and getting it ticketed. And
that stinks. I'm sorry about
that. They'll give me my money back. That's the downside of the Black Friday.
Yeah, there you go. You nailed it. I think you pays your money, it takes your chances on these things because there's a reason it's $250.
I've never had bad luck in the past.
Really? Great.
Granted, it's a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
But I have 2 of them in my classroom that work great.
Oh, this kills me. You're a teacher. It's even worse.
And for $250, a 55-inch TV,
It's great.
It's not a 4K TV. It's not.
No, it doesn't need to be. No, no one's watching 4K content anyway.
And not with my old eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. And I don't know of a fix. You're just giving us a cautionary tale, but I'm sorry that you got that. I'm
hoping that they'll get some more of them in the next couple of weeks.
Do they intimate they might? Because they won't sell them at $250, but they owe you one.
Yeah, I would just return it. One guy said no, where it's a Black Friday only special.
Yeah, Westinghouse. They might make some more. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Our show today brought to you by Epson and the amazing Eco Tank. Oh, I love them. I always am thrilled to do these ads because I just want to pat Epson on the back for kind of turning the printing business on its head. For years, inkjet printers, they sold the printer for you at cost, and they made it up by selling you cartridges afterwards. Epson said, we think people would enjoy the idea of not buying cartridges for 2 years, of not running out of ink for 2 years. But, in order to do this, we're going to have to charge them for the ink up front. Do you think people will go for that? Yes, they do. In fact, that's what Epson told me. So they were really worried. They started selling them in Brazil first, thinking that people might not, the sticker shock of looking at the box and saying, oh, it's more expensive for this printer, might dissuade them. But people are not dumb. They do the math. They go, wow, I'm going to save a lot of money, and this is going to be a lot more convenient. This is the Epson EcoTank 4550, that's the whole Precision Core line. This is kind of the base, one of the great, nice, basic models. It's an all-in-one printer. It's got scanning and faxing and color copying. But it comes in the box with 11,000 black pages of ink, or 8,500 color pages. See the side on there? That's the tank. That's equivalent to about 50 ink cartridge sets. And then when you run out, you buy low-cost replacement ink bottles, refill the tank, and you're good to go for another 2 years. This is brilliant. And I'm thrilled that Epson recognized that we're all smart enough to get it. Epson.com/EcoTank. Check them out today. Great printers. And they don't run out of ink for 2 whole years. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Just trying to figure out who owns Westinghouse these days. We're talking about that doorbuster special yesterday at Target, $250 for a 55-inch Westinghouse TV. I'm pretty sure the company that makes those TVs is licensing the name. I don't know. The issue really is, of course, what's the story behind that $250 TV? Is it a discontinued model they're clearing out, in which case they may never get any more again? Is it something they made specifically for Black Friday? Who knows? According to our chat room, the TVs are manufactured and distributed by a company called Westinghouse Digital, a value-oriented company. There's an interesting phrase. That means they make cheap TVs, which licensed the brand from Westinghouse Electric Corporation in 2012. Remember Packard Bell Computers? Yeah. I don't know why they thought that would be a good name to license. Packard Bell, of course, famous manufacturer of console radios in the 40s. In the 50s, went out of business. A Chinese company bought the name and made Packard Bell Computers, thinking, well, I'm sure people they'll feel good about buying a computer from a radio maker. A lot of the names you see these days, they're no longer. Polaroid, another good one. Company that really went out of business. But they still had the trademarks, and they licensed the trademarks to other companies. And it makes you feel good. Makes you feel like, well, I'm buying a Westinghouse, right? I'm buying a Zenith. But it's not. It's just some other company borrowing the name. Peter in Toronto, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Leo. How you doing? Longtime fan. I remember you doing the shows up here at Call for Help. And
I miss going to Toronto, except right about now I don't miss it.
Yeah, it's cold. But anyway, I was just wondering, I've been looking at these Nest cams for home security, and I'm just wondering if you've heard how good they are because I've had IP cams in the past, but
they've gotten a lot better over time. You know, Axis, we used Axis for years, and I think they're kind of the king, but they're very expensive. We currently use those as our security cameras. Google bought Nest, which makes and then bought Dropcam, and now they've relabeled the drop cams, which we also use and like a lot. The Nest cams, those are very good. But my friends over at the Wirecutter, which is a great site, highly recommend for reviews, recommend another brand. I'm going to look it up here. That is they say even the best choice for security cameras. You want to use it for security?
Yeah, more for just keeping an eye on things when I'm away from out of town and things
Actually,
like that.
they like the Nest Cam. They say it's the best wireless IP cam. And certainly I have used that. So I think that's a good camera. It's wireless in the sense that it doesn't need a network wire. You still have to power it. And I think that they do a very good job. We've used Nest for a long time. Now,
I heard you can hook it up to your thermostat too. And
yeah, Nest has a thermostat they make.
Yeah.
And so the camera can tell whether you're in the house and so forth. And I think they're very good. They're not inexpensive. The one they liked before this was the Netgear Arlo. Now, the nice thing about the Arlo, I think it's battery powered. There are some that are battery powered, in which case, you know, there's pros and cons to that, in which case you don't have to get power to it, so you can put it anywhere. The negative is, of course, that it can't be on all the time or to drain the battery.
Right.
So most of those have motion sensors in them and turn on only when somebody moves. But for a security camera, that's what you want.
Yeah. Well, I heard too the Nest, you have to pay a subscription if you want to get.
You do have to buy if you want it, but I think this is a good way to do it. You know, what we do is we have cameras hooked up to hard drives in our building. And so they're monitoring, and then we can look at the hard drives. Most security systems, that's kind of how they work. They use DVRs or something like that to record the video, and you can look back. But really, the easiest thing to do is what Nest does, which is you don't have to have any hardware recording anything. It records on the cloud, records over the internet.
Yeah.
And you can decide how much you want to pay. I mean, you don't have to pay anything, and then you get some limited amount of storage. But I think you're going to want to subscribe. It's not horribly expensive.
Yeah.
We've been very happy, and the ability to go back in time and say what happened on this, like there was an earthquake, and we had it all on video because we went back and we looked at the video that Nest Cam had recorded on their servers.
Yeah, and it's in HD also, right?
Yeah, good quality, excellent quality.
Good quality.
Yeah. So I mean, I have experience with them. Axis is another company that makes AXIX makes excellent IP-based cameras. Those are kind of more professional grade. And with a price to boot, obviously.
Okay. No, we're getting the Black Friday up here too, so they're $189.
It's spreading everywhere. You guys don't have Thanksgiving in the same time. You have it in October, but your Black Friday is the day after our American Thanksgiving.
It's on everywhere.
Isn't that strange? Yeah, apparently it's huge in England.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. Maybe look into it. They're really promoting it up here, so
I love it. We have them all over the place. And they've gotten better. I think they've gotten better and better with the investment of Google. I shouldn't say Google anymore, right? It's an Alphabet company, but who knows what Alphabet is? Do you remember that Google kind of spun off and they created this company called Alphabet that is a holding company for Google and these other companies, but they're separately run. So Nest, which Google had bought, was spun out as part of Alphabet. I don't think it's still part of Google. But not in name. Only in spirit. I want to go to Maui right now. From Toronto to Maui. I'm going to get some shock. Kimberly.
Hi, Leo.
Nice to talk to you. Welcome.
Thank you. And you have helped me in the past, so I know you're going to help me this time.
I'm going to try.
Well, thank you for having me, taking my call. Two questions, and I'm sorry I'm on my cell phone.
That's fine. You sound great.
Is, I have a smart TV that I'm looking for a wireless keyboard, and I've been all over the internet, and people say you need this kind of that.
No, yeah. If you're most smart TVs that support wireless keyboards do it via Bluetooth, which means any Bluetooth keyboard will work.
Okay, great. Now, next question is, I have a dumb TV. It's a Samsung. It's about 5 years old. It's a 48-inch, so, I really don't want to replace it.
No, yeah.
I have to.
That's the guest room TV, yeah.
Yeah. And this one is has blue lines that run through it for about the first 30 minutes.
And then it warms up and it's okay.
And then when it warms up, it's okay.
You have what they call a cold solder. So if the connection is poorly soldered, and there's a connection that connects the electronics of the LCD panel to the logic board of the television, if it's poorly soldered, it doesn't conduct until it heats up. And then suddenly it works. And that's exactly what's wrong. It's not worth fixing. It's an expensive fix.
Okay.
So you're just going to have to live with it.
Really soon?
No.
Okay.
It's going to go on just the same, maybe forever. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye. Aloha. Johnny Jet has been everywhere. He's a travel guy. JohnnyJet.com, man. Hey, Johnny, welcome. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
In
You
what
too.
land did you enjoy your turkey this year?
You know what? We were in California. My mother-in-law's first American Thanksgiving.
No kidding.
She loved it. Then we jumped on a plane yesterday. Half the plane was empty, which is a great day to fly. It was cheap.
What? I thought the day after Thanksgiving would be terrible.
No, it's a great day to fly.
Because everybody sticks around for one more day?
For sure.
Oh, they fly on the weekend.
So I used miles for my wife and my mother-in-law to fly back. And I bought a ticket for, it was an okay price, but.
Did you fly
plane
Air
was empty.
Canada?
No, American.
American.
Got a free upgrade, gave it to my mother-in-law. And
Oh, wait a minute. Now, she sat in the front and you sat in the back?
Yep, but it was wide open. I actually prefer it that way anyway.
You got some points there, my friend. Johnny Jet, the king of travel. He shows us how to save money and to travel better using technology every week on this show. He's also a great guy.
Well, thank you. So I have an app for you, I have a website, and I have a tip for you. And actually, the tip came from one of your readers.
Oh.
So let's start with a tip from your reader. A guy named Mike wrote me, says, I listen to you every week on Leo. And, I have a daily tip newsletter. And on Fridays, we feature a reader. So this one was, he flies Southwest all the time. He's a frequent flyer on them. He's an A-lister, what they call them, preferred. And he noticed that when he signed into their website and is doing these flight searches for the flight he takes every week, he noticed that it's always more expensive than the other flights that same day. So what he did was he cleared his cookies, used a different browser, and sure enough, that price was what the other flights were, much less. So what he's learned to do is now sign out and then sign in only when he's at checkout, if that makes any sense to you.
Yes. Everything you say makes perfect sense until I try it.
And I've been telling this to people for a long time. If you frequent certain websites, always clear your cookies or try a different browser just to see if it matches up.
They pay attention to where you've been.
Exactly. So that is my tip.
Clear your cookies.
Clear your cookies.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless you're going to a Starwood group, and then you might want to eat the cookies at the front desk there.
That's double
tree
by Hilton.
Sorry. Of course you know where the chocolate chip cookies are fresh. That is a mean thing they do. They put them right at the front desk there. Oh, that's mean.
But Starwood, was just bought by Marriott a week ago.
I saw that. What do you think of that?
That's going to be the largest hotel company in the world.
If I have Starwood points, which I do, because I love getting the upgrades.
Yep.
Is that going to transfer to Marriott, or what's that going to? It's probably not going to
eventually.
change.
I mean, they haven't disclosed, but everyone has plenty of time. Nothing's going to happen until mid next year, and most likely not till January next year of 2017. So nothing to worry. But let's just hope Marriott doesn't mess it up, because Marriott's rewards program is nowhere near as good as Starwood's.
I so prefer the Westins and the W's to the Marriotts. They're just
for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Marriott promised they won't mess it up, so let's.
Yeah, they always promise that.
I know. That's a problem. All right. So my app is called Finding Rover. Have you heard of this one?
No.
Do you have a dog?
I do.
Okay. So then you want to know about it. So download this app. It's free for Android and iOS. And so, did you know 7 million dogs go lost a year?
Oh.
And this guy supposedly came up with this revolutionary facial recognition software where you can take a picture of your
Wait a
dog,
minute.
upload it.
It recognizes your dog's face?
Yes.
What?
It's been written about in every different magazine.
Hey, I got to get Ozzy over here and try it. What?
So I think it's great for travelers because, a lot of them travel with their dogs. Soon it's going to have cats. And, so if your dog is...
I don't believe that. They all look the same to me. I don't think this works. How could this work?
Well,
don't all dogs look, like among a breed? That's why they're bred, to look the same.
I have no idea how it works. Maybe their eyes, I don't know. But if I had a dog, I would at least give it a shot.
So you take a picture of your pooch.
Or of one that you find that's lost. Which is key. And actually they have this thing called a bark button where you press the button on the phone, on the app, and it barks.
And the dog comes over to see what's going on.
And it will look at you so you can get a good picture of its face.
What the heck? That thing's barking at me. So all the dogs look slightly surprised and puzzled.
For sure, but I think it's handy. I mean, listen, I grew up with dogs. I travel too much internationally to have one now, but all my siblings do. And I'm turning them on to this just because sometimes when they travel, their dog will get loose, or and the neighbors don't know the dog when you're traveling, so you don't have that comfort for them trying to find it. And,
so the idea is you have to take a picture of your dog first and put it in the database. They must have a database, right?
Exactly.
All right. So take a picture of your dog, and then if somebody finds your dog and they know enough to have this app, they take a picture and it looks it up in the database.
Correct.
I think all papillons look the same. I'm sorry. I don't see how this could work.
If I had a dog, I'd give it a shot. But now that's why I'm asking you to do it.
All right, I will. And by the way, presumably shelters and vets and people who take care of animals would know about this, rescue organizations and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a great idea. Let's just hope it works.
If it works, it is a lifesaver. FindingRover.com. I still would recommend you chip your pets because that does work.
And how do you do that?
They embed a little RFID in the pet's neck, and they can scan it, and it has identifying number. And all
how
vets.
Much does that cost?
I don't remember. It wasn't too expensive, and it's better than a tag because you can't lose it. The dog can't lose it, and when you get to a shelter, they can just scan your pet and find out. And by the way, we have a cat door that opens based on that chip.
That is awesome.
Yeah, if it worked, it'd be great.
Oh, so it doesn't work.
It kind of works. The problem is a cat, most of the time it clicks and opens, but the one time the cat bonks his head against the cat door is the time he's going to I'm not doing this again. I'm not stupid.
That's funny.
All right, so your app is Finding Rover.
Yep.
Good.
And so my website is called newsleeps.com. NEWSLEEPS.com. So this, it's a new website and it's a great concept. So what they do is they're showing off brand new hotels. They have every different type, from boutique, business, chain, or resort. Because I get questions from readers all the time saying, hey, I prefer to stay in a brand new or renovated hotel because I have allergies or whatever. And, I prefer to stay at them. Do you know which ones are?
Oh, yeah.
And
Fresh is always better.
So now I can just redirect them to here.
Yeah.
So it's a great idea. It's just for the U.S. though. So keep that in mind.
This is a good idea.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I like staying in new hotels, going on new boats. Although
it's like getting a new car.
It always is, it's cleaner and fresher, but then they don't have the systems down.
Correct. The service is always
sometimes things don't work quite. You have to kind of balance that with they haven't quite figured out.
For sure, but actually a lot of times when hotels are just opening up, you can get a really good rate.
Right.
Introductory rate.
Right.
So always look at that, and especially for airlines when they're starting new routes. I get an email almost every week from JetBlue saying they're starting a new route, and it's always at like $89 or $99 one way. So always look at that.
Yeah. Johnny Jet is at johnnyjet.com. He has several great travel newsletters you must subscribe to, and they're free. There's no reason not to. And he doesn't sell your address or anything like that. You can also never. It would be heaven forfend.
Never.
He's also on Twitter at Johnny Jet. Follow him on Twitter, and then when you go there, go to his lists because he has lists of airlines and all sorts of great things that you should follow. And of course, his Instagram is full of great pictures right now of the freezing rain in Toronto, which will make you wish you were in the tropics, which I bet he's going to because I know Johnny.
No, I'm not actually. I'm not
No.
going to the cold, but it's going to be beautiful.
Okay, just to understand that Greenland is icy. It's Iceland that's green.
I understand.
Don't confuse those.
I've been to Iceland many times.
Don't go to Greenland. No, go there. Let us know how it is. Thank you, Johnny.
Take care.
We'll see you next week. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. More of your calls right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, our kind of post Black Friday letdown, kind of Thanksgiving coma kind of weekend. But if you got something for Black Friday and you're trying to figure out how to use it, I'm going to have to help Kim Schaffer. She can't. Her iPhone's not doing what it's supposed to do. That's what I'm here for. 8888 Ask Leo is the website, is the phone number. The website is techguylabs.com. Gary on the line from Cheektowaga, New York, a.k.a. Buffalo. You're just teasing me now, right?
No, seriously. I usually say I'm from Buffalo, but I heard it earlier you mentioned Cheektowaga.
Yeah, so people were saying the Buffalo airport's in Cheektowaga.
Yeah, but I actually do live in Cheektowaga.
Nice. I love Upper New York State. We used to vacation there when I was a kid. I always have fond memories of it.
We actually have great weather. I mean,
except for the whole winter, which is about 8 months of the year.
Nah, you don't get that much snow. You don't get enough snow. I do a lot of snowshoeing, and we just don't get enough of it from here.
Yeah. What was it last year or the year before you had like 8 feet?
Last year, just south of where I live.
Oh, you just missed it.
Bad, really
Yeah.
bad.
That would have been fun. I saw those pictures of people. It was all on Instagram. They would open their front door, and there'd be a wall of snow with a door imprint in it. That was great.
Yeah. It was horrible for some of them.
I can imagine. What can I do for you?
Well, I want to tell you about my adventures in home automation and wondering if I'm going to saturate my house with this stuff. I started with a Chamberlain MyQ garage door opener. It worked great. I went and got a Honeywell thermostat and ultimately got a Wink hub and some GE Link bulbs. I got a Nest code, CO smoke detector, and then I bought some door and window trippers and a couple of motion detectors.
Wow.
Bought the quirky Pivot Power Genius. I wish I bought more of those. Walmart had them on sale last
I know. Quirky went out of business. Those pivots were the best thing they made.
I know.
They're power plugs that, power surge suppressor, what do they call those things? And then you could turn them so you'd never run out of space on them.
Yep.
It's a great idea.
Two of them are Wi-Fi
power
enabled.
strips.
And the two of them are Wi-Fi enabled, so you can use them to turn on and off the separate lamp.
Oh, this is great. How's that all work for you?
It's working great. Well, I'll tell you, the real reason I bought it all was not for security. I knew last year I had to have 2 hip replacements, and this year I just a couple weeks ago had a knee replacement.
Yikes.
So I knew I had to do things around here to make it more convenient to live, because I live by myself. And
Great idea. So if you're immobilized, at least you can, do things. That's great.
Yeah. Well, then the last thing I put in just before my last operation a few weeks ago were the Ring video doorbells, and those have worked out just fantastic.
Aren't those great? Yeah. They're a sponsor. In fact, a lot of what you just talked about is sponsors. I won't sort them out, but yeah, that's great.
Well, then my question is, though, is there going to come a point where I got too much of this stuff?
Yes. No. Sometimes Wi-Fi runs out of space. It depends on your Wi-Fi router. Sometimes you can't get more than, say, 99 devices attached, things like that. That would be the only sticking point. And there's ways around that. The hubs, a lot of times you go to a hub, and then the hub goes to the Wi-Fi. So I think you're probably all right. You're saturating your home, but that's what networking's for. Networking's designed to handle a lot of devices. There's the security issue, which I don't know if this is overplayed or not. What you're buying into big time is not merely home automation. It's called the Internet of Things. Putting all these devices on the net. And there's this magic thing that happens when you can, you're building a database of devices that you could talk to and sense, and that's really cool. There is potentially a security issue if one of them has a way a bad guy can get in through it into your network. It could cause problems, but I've yet to see that happen. That's more of a theoretical problem than a genuine problem. So I think you're fine. I mean, the issue is going to be how many Wi-Fi connections your router can support.
Okay. Now I got a side question for you, because the Ring video doorbells were not working as well as I wanted them to when I was using a Samsung S4. So I went and bought a Nexus 5, not the X, the old Nexus 5, and everything seemed to work perfect all of a sudden.
Shouldn't make it. I mean, Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. If the Samsung couldn't get on the Wi-Fi network for some reason, maybe that was why. But
yeah, well, I had routed it, so maybe I don't know. But in any event, the Nexus 5 is working fine. But of course, having always owned Samsung with replaceable batteries, I'm now I don't like. Do they make a battery charger that's no bigger than a battery? I don't understand. I bought one and it's bigger than the phone.
Well, Samsung. Oddly enough, Samsung does make. You mean like AA battery charger, or you mean like
just a battery pack? A battery pack recharger.
Yeah, I mean the Samsung makes them. They're just about the size of the battery. There's a little bit more for circuitry, and the battery goes in it. It's got a lid on it, and close it, plug it in. Are you talking for what device?
No. I mean for the Nexus to hook to recharge my Nexus on the road.
A wall wart, you mean? We call those wall warts. Those the things you plug into the wall, and then you plug a USB cable.
No, I mean the power packs. The portable.
Oh, you mean? Oh, I get what you're saying.
They all seem to
I get what you're saying. So yeah, if you travel a lot, you can get these. They're basically just batteries that plug into the wall. The capacity of those is directly 1-to-1 corresponds to the size. More capacity, bigger size. Anker was selling for Black Friday a 25,000 milliamp hour device that was fairly small, as small as I've ever seen, but it's still big and heavy. The number of lithium ion cells in there is what determines how much juice you can hold. We're talking about these portable batteries you carry around. If your phone dies, you just plug it into there. They're all roughly the same ratio of size to capacity. So you can get smaller ones, but they will only have, say, one full charge on them.
Yeah, but that's all I would need. I mean, I would carry two of those.
Okay.
But my theory was, if my old Samsung replaceable batteries that I bought are very tiny, net box size, why would it be impossible to make a rechargeable?
They do. So go to Amazon.com and look for Anker, Anker.
All right.
And you'll see a big variety of devices, and there's a broad range of what we call milliamp hours. So that's how much charging. The smallest Anker makes is the size of a lipstick, and it's 3,350 milliamp hours, about the size, a little bit more, but there always is a little overhead, a little bit more than the charge of one phone charge. So that would be enough to get you a full recharge. Is $10. It's not expensive. You could fit in your pocket. It's like a lipstick. I mean, you get the size.
That's all I need. That's all I'm looking for.
And they even come in pink. If you silver, pink, black, and blue. If you want people to think of their lipstick, get them in pink. And it has a USB. Has two USB ports. One is the output port for charging the phone, and one is the input port for charging the battery. But again, 3350 is that's about what's in. That was about what's in your your Nexus X. 5X is about 22 or 2,500. So it would fully charge that 1.5 times thereabouts.
All right, well, good. That's what I need to know. But all that ring video equipment, all that stuff is working just great now with the Nexus 5. So.
Yeah, and then of course Anker makes much bigger ones. It depends on how big you want to get it. The other thing to look for is quick charging. Some of the phones support a variety of different quick charge standards, usually tied to the amount of amps something can put out. This little one puts out 1 amp, so it's only a 5-watt charger. So it's it's not going to fast charge anything, but it's small, which is nice. So there's a direct correspondence a correlation between the size of the external, battery, the charger battery, and the amount of juice that it can hold. And there's no magic in it. These external battery packs can get quite big. I mean, if you want to charge a laptop, you can do it, but you're going to have a pretty big battery, pretty heavy battery. This one's small. I like this. And I love Anker's stuff. If you want to, choose by brand, Anker is pretty good. They make, and they're like, I think they stand behind their stuff. Most of these are just rebranded, kind of labelless Chinese manufacturers and a variety of companies. Belkin does this. Others just buy that, from the Chinese manufacturer, slap their name on it, and sell it for twice or three times as much. The problem is it's hard to know which Chinese manufacturer to trust. I mean, in theory, you could save a lot of money going to eBay, but some of these are not well made. So it's nice to have a brand name, even though you'll pay a little more, and somebody you can go back to. 8888 Ask Leo. News at the top of the hour coming up next, but we will be back. More of your calls, more Black Friday help, more tech talk. Don't forget the website, techguylabs.com. If you go there, you can find all links to everything I talk about, and even after the show, audio and video from every show. My new sheets from Boll and Branch. Sheets actually slept on by U.S. presidents. Not the one you're going to get. You'll get nice new ones. But I'm just saying, 3 U.S. presidents sleep on Boll and Branch, and Leo sleeps on Boll and Branch. I love Boll and Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com. They've been around for a long time, but recently decided to kind of stop selling to the department stores where there's like an 800% markup and sell direct to you, which means you get the best sheets for a lot less. It's funny, I was in Walmart. You see the phrase Egyptian cotton and 300, 400, 500 thread count and all that. I got to tell you, that's marketing speak. I was in Walmart, I was looking at a polyester pillow that said it was made of Egyptian cotton and had a thread count of 800. It's meaningless now. It's meaningless. That's not what you want. What you want is Boll and Branch, the softest, most comfortable sheets. They're organic cotton, fair trade, so they're made responsibly with the best cotton ever. And man, they are so soft. They are so comfortable. They wear beautifully. And they make a great gift because they come in their beautiful beribboned box. When I got my Boll and Branch sheets, I thought, did somebody send me a wedding gift? What is this? Then I realized, these are the sheets I ordered. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. And they are so soft. And it's not just sheets, it's all kinds of bedding. Look, for only a couple of $100, you can treat yourself to the same luxurious, incredible bedding that U.S. presidents, countless celebrities swear by. BOLL, like a cotton boll, right? BOLL and branch.com. You're not paying for department store overhead. You're not paying any markup. In fact, right now they'll give you 20% off your entire order, including sheets, towels, blankets, duvet covers, scarves, and you get free shipping. And they all come in those beautiful signature boxes with the Boll and Branch on them. People will be so happy. This is a great wedding gift, a baby gift, or just a gift to yourself for good night's sleep. Boll and Branch, BOLLANDBRANCH.com. 20% off, but you have to use the offer code TechGuy. We have the trimmed sheets. I really love this little trim right here. It's so pretty. And what's nice is I go into the linen closet and I can pick out the Boll and Branches right away. I go right to the Boll and Branch. They come in these beautiful boxes. Look at the ribbons. It's so pretty. BOLLANDBranch.com. Don't forget to use the offer code TechGuy at checkout for 20% off your entire order. Nice sheets. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet and home theater and digital photography and smartphones and smart watches and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. If you're outside those areas, we get calls from all over the world. I love that. You can still call by just using Skype or Skype out or something to call that number. 8888 Ask Leo. I was holding up my iPhone. Somebody in the chat room said, why do you have that big strap on your iPhone? So I have a case that I like a lot called, it's a Roku, Rockform, ROKFORM. You're taking notes? All right. Kim Schaffer just got her new iPhone 6S. It's so big, and it's beautiful, and it's thin, and it's slippery. Yes. It's like Steve Martin said. He says, "Gotta love Apple. They made the new iPhone out of glass, and it's slippery." Clever marketing. These aren't all glass anymore. They now have metal backs, so they're a little bit more reliable. But I still think it's a good idea to carry in a case. On the other hand, if you got a beautiful rose gold iPhone, as you do, Kim Schaffer, and as I do, you want to have a case that you can at least see the gold. So you got one like that, which is nice. But mine has a little bit more going on. I have a strap, a tether, like a wrist strap. Not that I walk around with my iPhone dangling from my wrist. It is kind of handy for taking pictures. The main reason I have it is it's a second chance to catch it. If it's falling out of my pocket, if I miss the phone, I have a shot. I might get the strap and save it from a fate worse than death. I don't think have I ever dropped and broken an iPhone? I've dropped it and dented it, but I don't think I've ever broken it. Although I was at the Apple store yesterday, and I think his name is Fred, came over and said, "Leo," and I said, "Oh, hi." He said, "Don't you remember me?" I said, "No." He said, "I'm the guy you brought your broken iPhone to when you dropped it in a glass of water." Oh yeah, that one. He's still there. Yep. Never forget. That was a test. I was testing Liquipel, which was a product that they said, I don't know, are they still around? Where you would send them your phone, and for a lot of money, like $90, they would coat the insides with something that they said was waterproof. So I did it. I sent it off, got it Liquipelled, got the phone back. Just to test it, I dunked it in a glass of water. It immediately went zzz, and that was that. Fortunately, I am an honest person. When I went to the Apple store, Fred came out and said, "What can I do?" I said, "My phone got wet." Which you always want to be honest about that. Don't pretend you don't know what happened to your phone, because he takes a little pen light and looks right down the earplug hole, the hole for your headset. And he says, "Yep, you got it wet." I said, "How do you know?" He says, "There's a little blue strip of paper in there. If you get it wet, it turns a color." And I can see. I said, "Well, I'm glad I didn't lie to him." He said, "I knew you got it wet anyway. I saw you do it." I said, "Thank goodness." I was always be honest with the genius. The geniuses at Apple, they can help you a lot if they like you. So, bring them candies. Be friendly. 8888 asks you, are the phones working? I'm stalling here. Can I take the calls that are already on the board? Okay, we're having a little technical snafu. People say, "Leo, why do you have so many technical difficulties?" Because I'm the tech guy. I live on the bleeding edge. That's why. John, Savannah, Georgia, you're next. Hi, John. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Yes. Hello, Leo.
Hello, John. What can I do for you?
Well, I have a 27-inch Mac that I bought in the fall of 2011, and it's worked beautifully. I like to do photography and some video editing. And about a month ago or 2 months ago, my wife noticed it started flickering. Well, after it started flickering, I thought maybe that'll be okay, just flicker a little bit.
Doesn't it annoy you, though? I mean, doesn't it kind of bug you?
Yeah. Then after a few days ago, the whole left side, it's like a light bulb went off inside. It's darker than the right side. The right side is still shiny. And I called Apple, well, we don't have an Apple store here in Savannah, so I called Apple, and they said, well, do a prim or something like that, Command P.
Yeah,
and,
it's clearing the pram. It's one of the magical voodoo things you do to a Macintosh to get it better. You Command Option PR on reboot, and it's a signal to the Macintosh to erase the non-volatile memory that you have in there in case some settings have gone awry. That didn't fix it, did it?
No, then they had me do a complete restore. That took 7 hours.
By the way, I should explain. All companies do this. They're going to do these simple, easy things just in case. I mean, I know what's wrong with your computer, and it has nothing to do. It's a hardware problem. It has nothing to do with this. But they can't be sure it's not some software issue unless they make you do all of this stuff, including restore the operating system to the way it was when it came from the factory. If it then still happens, and it does, doesn't it?
Yes, it's still there. And then they had me unplug it from the back and plug it back in. That didn't. And then they said, well...
You know why by the way, you know why they do that? They don't want to embarrass you by saying, is it plugged in? So they say, well, let's do this. Let's unplug it and plug it back in, just in case. Because the truth is, I bet you half the calls, people go, oh, it's not plugged in. Let me just, oh, it works now. Thank you. In fact, usually that's the first thing they'll do. But that's not what's wrong either.
Well, then they said it may be, well, about that time some of the video cards, your card, went bad. But I looked up on the internet. I don't have rolling lines or whatever. It's just darker like a light bulb went off than the right one.
You just said exactly what's wrong. The light bulb went off. So you have an LCD screen. All of these screens are LCDs, and they're backlit. That you've heard that phrase, backlit. That means the way an LCD works, it's a shutter system. The liquid crystal opens and closes very, 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 very rapidly and lets light through selectively. And where's the light coming from? It's letting through. From the back of the monitor, there's fluorescent or LED bulbs. In your case, probably LED bulbs. And if half of it, first the flickering means something's, like this connection's going bad. Then it goes out. Half of them goes out. That means that half, in my opinion, of the backlight is not working. Can you see, here's a way to test that. Can you see anything on the dark part at all, or is it completely out?
Yes, I can see. I can see under there, but since I do photography, it's like...
Well, it's no good to you, I understand. But you can, the reason what you're seeing is the liquid crystals, they're still working and shuttering, but because there's no light coming through them, you don't see a full screen. You can kind of see the shadow of what you would see. That confirms my diagnosis, my expert diagnosis from 3,000 miles away without even touching the thing. And have they come to that conclusion yet, or are they still?
No, they thought it might be out.
Oh, Lord.
It might be that video card. Well, I can still see through it. It's still very seeable, and you can see things.
So you want to know how you test if it's a video card is you connect an external monitor up to it. Because that should work. If you connected an external monitor to your iMac and it works, that means the video card's fine, the software's, all of this would have been the fastest way to test this. Anytime you have video problems with a laptop or a desktop, connect an external monitor that you know works and see if it works. And it will in your case, because what's wrong is exactly what I said. The backlight is out, half of it.
Is it worth fixing, or where would you carry it to? Well, we don't have an Apple store, but we have authorized dealers here.
You should ask them. They'll tell you Apple's very good about this. They'll tell you up front what, and it's a little maddening. I mean, they have their notebook. They're working their way through the notebook. But if they had any sense, they would have said what I just said in about 30 seconds. Yeah, plug in a monitor, see if that works. Oh, it does? Okay, your backlit is burnt out. Can you see any image on there? Yeah. Oh, your backlit. And they can then just tell them my backlight is burnt out. How much will it cost to replace it? And they'll tell you. And then you can decide. This is the only thing that's bad about an all-in-one like the iMac, is if the monitor goes out, your whole computer is out and has to be replaced, or at least repaired. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I got a feeling we got some more calls. Good, the phones are working. Kim Schaffer on the phones. She took out her little screwdriver and hammer and got it all working. Eric where are you calling from, Eric?
Germany.
You're in Germany?
Yes, hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where in Germany are you?
Duisburg, close to Düsseldorf.
Ah, very nice. Welcome. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I have a little problem. I want to tour on a folding bike in Myanmar, and I will keep a netbook with me. And I want to copy SD cards from my camera to multiple hard drives. So I'm looking for a small, very light device.
This sounds like so much fun. You're going to go, it's a folding bike. You're going to travel through Myanmar.
Yeah.
And you were going to take a lot of pictures, of course. And you're smart.
Yes, I have a travel printer with me.
You're going to take a printer with you?
Yes, I print out the pictures for the children on the way.
Oh, children would love that. Oh, what fun. This sounds like a great time. Are you going by yourself?
Yeah, I do it by myself. I did it beginning of this year, but I had a medical problem, so I had to cut my trip short. So I will redo it in January 2016.
How fun. So what you really want, and I think they still make these, is basically a hard drive with a card reader attached. Sometimes they call them photo safes or photo wallet. And it's exactly what you want. You can offload the card onto a hard drive. I mean, how important is it that every one of these pictures be preserved? Is that the key here?
Yeah, it's basically because I'm a photographer and I need 2 copies at least. And I have a Western Digital passport.
Yeah.
That's a wireless device. You can combine it with your cell phone. But I tried it, and it wasn't really perfect on my last trip.
Yeah, I mean,
So
a netbook. Having most external hard drives, you have to have a computer. In effect, it could be a phone or it could be a laptop. But the computer is reading the card and then either wirelessly or over the USB cable sending the data to the photos. So what you want is something more like a photo safe. Here's one. Called the Digital Foci Photo Safe 2. I don't know if they still sell this one. This is from a few years back.
Yeah.
Epson used to sell an incredible one. That's not it. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, I had one like this a couple of years ago, and I had bad experiences with it.
Oh, did you? All right.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I got all the pictures on it.
Because for a while, this was a great choice. The screens were getting better and better, so you could actually review the pictures. You could show the kids you want this and print from it. So if they're not, and I noticed that I don't know if they're being sold anymore. This is an interesting conundrum. If maybe they weren't doing so well. The Digital Foci Photo Safe, I think, might still be for sale. It was $150 for a 0.5 terabyte of storage. Most of these are kind of...
I use Western Digital My Passport Wireless.
Yeah. No, I understand what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that required that you have something that could read the pictures and then send them to the wireless hard drive, right? Because it didn't have a reader on it.
No, you have a reader in this one.
Oh, it did.
Already.
Okay.
Yeah. You put the card in, and then you can see the pictures on your phone, actually.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Huh?
But what was not good about that?
A notebook. Yeah, I want a notebook to review my pictures for printing.
I see.
Because I cannot print all the pictures from the small device.
Yeah. Oh, and we lost him. That bonk means we lost him. I don't know if that means our phone system crashed or...
No, he's dropped a bunch of times.
He has, okay. So it's it's via Skype. So I'm not sure what it sounds like he really is looking for a very small, light laptop that he can view it. A great choice for this would be the MacBook. It's not the cheapest choice by any means, but it's probably the thinnest and lightest good laptop out there, and it has a very good Retina display. So 12-inch display, which is a good size, that would allow you to see these pictures in pretty good quality. Apple makes excellent displays, and the size is a good size, and the laptop is great. Now, unfortunately, the way this one works, you have to buy a dongle because it's a Type-C. It only has one port that's both charging and data. It's a Type-C connector, but Apple sells and others sell little dongles that you connect to it, and that can have a card reader in it, or a USB port that you could plug a card reader into it. And you could also plug a hard drive into it. The Apple $79 dongle has an HDMI port. That would be so you could output to a screen, something you're probably not going to do on your bike, and a couple of USB ports and a charging port, all in that one dongle. So you could plug in a hard drive, plug in a card reader. It might even have a card reader on it. I know some do. I have to look at the Apple dongle again. It's a little pricey, but that's a great light computer. Nobody makes netbooks anymore. There are inexpensive laptops like the HP Stream, if price is an object, that are very inexpensive, a couple of $100. Those run Windows. Screens, though, on these, the first thing to go when you're getting a cheap device is the screen. So it just depends on how important screen quality is for you. If you're a photographer, I think it's pretty important. So you don't want a poor screen. I like the MacBook. I really think the MacBook is a great choice for something like this. Now, if you want something really rugged, just put it in a big rubber case, I guess. We're going to have more in just a second. Our show today brought to you by Simply Safe. We have a lot of people out there who want to have a home security system, people who are worried, about getting their stuff stolen or break-in. One of my staffers, Carly, who works in our continuity department, wanted something like this. And I said, we're going to get you Simply Safe because you can install it yourself. That saves you a huge amount, a lot of time. Simply Safe has all the pieces that you'd expect. You just go online to simplysafleo.com. You can get the cameras, you can get motion sensors, you can get window sensors, door opening sensors. But then here's the best part. You get it up and running easily. It's very simple to install. And you don't need to use a landline. It uses a cell service for 24-hour monitoring. And it's just $15 a month. That's 1/2 to 1/3 what those other alarm companies charge. And this is the same kind of professional quality monitoring 24/7. Easy to install. There's no upsell. No, they're not hard selling you on anything. Go to simplysafeLeo.com. Take a look. And by the way, it's month to month. There's no obligation, no requirement. Just $15 a month, month to month. Simply Safe is a great solution. We set up Carly. She loves it. SimplySafeLeo.com. SimplySafeLeo.com. A lot of people suggesting laptops for the road, for riding your bike in Myanmar. We'll put a list of ruggedized laptops in the show notes. I'll put my picks too. And everything from the HP Stream, which is $200 for a Windows 10 laptop, to the about 5 times more expensive MacBook. But those will all be at TechGuyLabs.com. TechGuyLabs.com. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Toll free from the U.S. and Canada. If you're in Germany, use Skype. You can Skype out. 888-827-5536. And don't forget the website. That's a great resource. Always free. No sign-up required. TechGuyLabs.com. More of your questions still to come. Stay right here. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. Now, we've got a half an hour left in the show on the radio, but we're going to do something special today because I know you all have Black Friday questions. We're going to keep taking calls. As long as you keep calling, I'll keep answering questions. We'll record them and use them in a later show, so don't worry. They're not going to be lost forever. But if you have a question, 8888 Ask Leo, and I'll be here. Well, let's see. It's about 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern right now. I'll probably be here till about 4 or 5 Pacific, right? You too, Kim, right? You're going to stick around? You're going to stick by me?
As long as you're here, I'm here.
Sorry. That's depressing. You sound so happy about that.
No, I'm fine.
No,
with it.
Kim's going to keep answering. We're going to keep taking the calls from now till, I would say we'll be doing a few more hours. I hope. I'd like to. So don't get this. Actually, when we do this, it's great because it's usually easier to get in. And so I know a lot of people try very hard. We got probably, I don't know, we have 6 lines and we probably have 10,000, 20,000 people calling at any given time. So your chance of getting in is difficult, but that'll be a lot easier once we end the show in about half an hour. Jeff is on the line from Ontario, California. He's next. Hi, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you for taking my call. I have 2 things to bring up, if I might.
Mm-hmm.
First one is we bought a Samsung Smart TV.
Mm-hmm.
And its normal situation is the FiOS is connected to the HDMI 1. So
FiOS connected to the HDMI. The HDMI connected to the TV.
There you go.
TV connected to the internet. And that's how you watch TV.
And
right?
there are times when we connect a 17-inch Dell laptop through the HDMI projector output on it.
Okay.
And each of these is smart. So if you turn if you select the input on the TV, the HDMI 2 that will have the computer shortly.
The TV goes and jumps over there.
Right. It says this is not active and I don't like it, so I'm going back to 1.
Yeah. That's called CEC. Every manufacturer has a different name for it, but it's a nice feature because you don't have to manually switch the HDMI ports. Right?
Interesting. Well, actually, it won't stay switched because the TV or the Dell projector output won't go active.
I didn't say it works well, just that it works. So then it switches back?
It's turning its nose up at the other, and we have to do the dance back and forth, plug and unplug, and this.
So CEC,
which collide with one another.
Yeah, CEC, which stands for Consumer Electronics Control, is a standard that, in theory, will automatically switch to the active device. I mean, in practice, it's a horrific design. I will frequently be watching TV on, interestingly enough, my Samsung Smart TV. I'll be watching, I have as you would expect, I have a TiVo hooked up to it. I have a Roku hooked up to it. I have an Apple TV hooked up to it. I have an Xbox One hooked up to it. And, and a Chromecast and a few other things. And randomly, this is the funny thing, randomly the TV will switch to an HDMI port that has nothing connected to it. The TV CD port. There's nothing on there. So this is CEC at work. It's wonderful. Now, when it works, it's nice because if I wake up my Apple TV, for instance, most of the time the Samsung will switch to the Apple TV and I'll see what's on there. And that's what you want yours to do.
Right.
Unfortunately, don't always work. So you're saying that what's happening is it's switching randomly, or it's not switching at all, or?
Well, I guess I haven't yet figured out the order to do things and to get it to work the first time.
So go into your Samsung settings, and you might make sure that CEC is turned on. And some of the ports are CEC, and some may not be.
Huh.
So I have to see what Samsung calls its C. This is the first problem, which is every manufacturer has a different name for CEC. What does Samsung call it? Do they call it CEC? Let me look and see. If you search for Samsung and CEC, you'll see quite a few help topics for people who are having similar issues. Solved. HDMI CEC problem on Samsung TV. Solved. Not solved. Hacking CEC to work, etc., etc., etc. So, in theory, the idea is you look in your manual and look in your menus for your settings. Make sure CEC is turned on. See which ports support it.
On the laptop, it also has the option of simultaneous LCD TV and projector output.
The TV doesn't care about that.
However, the projector output will not remain active if it doesn't see that something is receiving.
Right.
So evidently they're bidirectional output.
Yeah, exactly. They are. It's a communication that goes back and forth.
So I still have to do the unplug and unplug and try it again and try it again, and eventually they collide and work.
Yeah.
Anyway, the second idea that I have, or I'd like to bounce off of you and see what you think of it. As I heard you say earlier in the show, don't drive and use your phone simultaneously. It's dangerous and illegal in California.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
Now, my wife and I, we have a Garmin, and in the corner of the Garmin, it always tells us what speed we're going.
Nice.
And it even seems to be more accurate than Toyota's speedometer.
Could well be, yeah.
And they have apps that you can run on your smartphone that will give basically the same thing, right?
Right, that's right.
So how about if somebody wrote an app that would go off of those signals, and you would run the app, and that way what it would do is when you're in the car by yourself, you don't want to be distracted by the phone, so you turn the app on, and it would silence the phone, so you could have it upside down on the seat, and when you got a call, it would send it to voicemail, and it would hold if somebody sent you a text or something, it would just hush the phone, so it would be less distraction.
It's been done.
Oh, it has.
Oh, yeah. Motorola, the Moto X's have a very clever, unfortunately, they're removing it from the new updates, but a very clever feature on them. They'll watch what your activity is. One of the activities is driving, and you can say, please, when I get a call or a text while I'm driving, please send a text message saying, hey, I'm in the car. I'll get back to you later. I think this is a great feature.
Awesome.
Yeah. And there are other phones. I think Samsung has something similar. There are other phones that do it. There's also a program for Android devices called Agent that does something similar. I don't know of something like this for iPhone. Unfortunately, Apple, because they really lock the iPhone down, restricts the kind of information an application can get from the phone, and that would include the fact that we're moving. That only Apple can do that. So since Apple hasn't done that yet, I don't believe there's any way to do that on an iPhone that I know of. But if somebody has a solution, let me know, because that's a great idea. I agree with you. It's a really useful feature of the Motorola X. Now, as for the CEC problem, go into your settings on your TV. Make sure CEC is turned on. The idea is if something's not there or if it's asleep, and that's why most devices like the Roku, the Apple TV, the Chromecast that are hooked up to HDMI ports in your TV will time out. They'll go to sleep. And so they won't grab the CEC port while they're sleeping. They'll only grab it if you press their remote, and then it wakes them up and they go, oh, I think you want to watch, and then they will grab it. That's how you ideally want to do it. It might be a little bit, because of your setup is unusual, you're using a laptop. It might be that you don't want to have that HDMI connected to the laptop unless you're actively using it. But again, go into the CEC settings, figure out which of your ports support it. That's what's going on. That's the magic circuitry. And yes, it's notoriously finicky. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Here he is, stuffed like a turkey. Mad Magazine's maddest writer, Dick DeBartolo. I know you do your Writers' Thanksgiving every year. Did you make your traditional pineapple upside down cake, Dickie D?
No, no, it was much easier just to post a picture of last year's and changed it.
Because nobody eats it, right? They just look at it. Yeah.
No, I don't let people eat it. I go, oh, no, you're too full. Here, have some biscuits instead. Oh, have some Fig Newtons instead.
That looks like a lot of fun. You have a big group of guys. They all get together. And
well, we're down to about 2 now.
Oh.
Everybody's either retired or moved to Phoenix.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's okay.
Oh, it was such a. I always liked thinking about you having Thanksgiving dinner there. I made dinner for I think 25 people. It's a shame only 6 showed up.
Oh, okay, okay.
But if you want some mashed potatoes, I could FedEx them to you.
No, I need sweet potatoes.
Oh, we had 3 pies. I'm literally for 6 people. 3 pies.
Really?
That's a half a pie each.
Well, that's the average serving, isn't
Something happens in my brain when I hear the word feast, and I take it literally.
Yeah.
We had ham and turkey. Did I mention there were only 6 people?
Yes. Well, my mother, when my mother was alive, antipasto.
Yeah.
Then soup.
Yeah.
Then ravioli.
Gravy.
Then the
whole
turkey.
Yeah. Italian Thanksgiving's the best. I made my nona's stuffing dressing that she made with.
Yeah.
She put orange juice and Italian sausage in it. It was so good.
Yeah. I called my brother yesterday. This morning. And they said, no, we're still having Thanksgiving dinner. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, and this is last year's Thanksgiving
Of course,
dinner.
400.
Yeah, big.
What do you got for us? Every week, Dick joins us with a great gadget. Something interesting?
I have a fun gadget. We're coming into Christmas, so I have something called app lights. So there's strings of lights. They come in icicle shape or traditional light bulb, the big C9 shape. And what's neat about them is you hang them up, then you download an app, and then you can control the lights. And what's nice, you just put them up once and leave them up. If you want to do St. Patrick's Day, they do shades of green. If you want to do Valentine's Day, they do purple and red. And what's neat, Leo, there's a little string of them on your phone so that you can pre-screen what the lights are going to look like. And then when you like it, you hit go.
This is great.
And then...
So you put up your lights one last time and then never take them down.
Exactly. They make a kaleidoscope that you just stick in the ground and it shines up against the house. But I like the separate lights better. They give you a little more variety. They have sparkle. They have steady. They have fading.
Oh, I'm getting these. I'm so tired of getting on the ladder right about this time every year and putting the lights up and then taking them down.
It's perfect. Home Depot, they're $59.99.
But that's for how many lights? I mean,
24. So it's
you can be
it's a
buying
24th string.
Yeah.
You can hook 8 sets onto one another. And don't get them on Amazon because since they're a Home Depot exclusive, someone must be buying them. On Amazon, they're about $90.
Yikes.
So you don't want to do that.
Yikes. Who makes them?
You know what? The company, it's just called App Lights. They're at applights.com, where you can read about it. But then when you click buy, it'll just say exclusively Home Depot.
Okay. All right. I love this idea. I like the icicles, too. Those look kind of pretty.
They are really...
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about the icicles for me is in the middle of the summer... I don't want to see ice.
I don't know.
The traditional bulb...
Wait a minute. You live in an apartment. Where do you put these lights?
In my backyard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the kaleidoscope I would not put out there because as fun-loving as New Yorkers are...
Hey!
I don't think...
Turn off that light!
Yay! Hey!
Hey! Yo! Hey!
If you're gonna leave that on, I want the orange and the red only.
Though, I love Christmas in New York, I really love. We came out to see you some years ago.
Yes.
You gave Abby, my daughter, she was just a little girl then, maybe 8, a tour of the Mad offices, the old Mad offices. It was really fun. I had a really great
Fifth
time.
Avenue is a must-see. Christmas tree, everything.
Yeah, I watched the Thanksgiving
parade. And now
parade.
my backyard.
Yeah, go see Dick's Backyard. It's on the tour.
It's on the
tour. Is the Macy's Thanksgiving parade a zoo? Is it hard to go to?
You know what? A friend of mine, Joe Bolanis, does the inflation parade thing. There's a restaurant.
They call him Joey Balloons during the event.
Joey, exactly. And the restaurant is right next to where they blow the balloons up. And he knows the manager there. And every year, thankfully, he invites us and Dennis.
It sounds like so much fun.
We have dinner at 10 and we get out at midnight. And the cops let us walk around.
Hey, you want to watch them inflate the balloons with Joey Balloons?
You want a couple pounds of helium?
Yeah.
Hey, get your helium.
Every year. I love that Underdog. Every year. Nobody even remembers Underdog, but they got him. Well, if you want, I'll tell you where it's easy to get in. That is gizwiz.biz. That's Dickie D's website, gizwiz.biz, and that's where you can see links to the app lights and everything he mentions on this show and the World News Now show and all the shows he does. And, of course, there's What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Happy holidays, Dickie D.
Yes, sir. I'll see you next week.
We'll talk to you again next week. As I mentioned, we're going to keep taking calls. We're going to wrap up the show in a couple of minutes, but we will keep taking calls as long as you keep calling. Our Black Friday special. If you bought it, I can get it working. At 8888 Ask Leo. Chris in Los Angeles. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Welcome.
Leo?
You're on, my friend.
Wow. Okay,
thanks for your patience. What can I do for you?
You bet. Okay. I've been trying to iChat recently. I've been iChatting with my parents for years, and up until like 2 months ago, we haven't been able to successfully connect.
Yeah, they don't have iChat anymore.
Okay.
Apple killed iChat years ago. Wow.
They have Messenger or something like that.
Yeah. Wow. The servers must have still been running. But they haven't offered it since 10.7. Leopard, I think, was the last time. So now they use messages, and it's very similar. It's a little confusing because Messages is also a texting app for the iPhone. But that's better. It means you can use it for texting as well as just internet messaging, and it works on desktops as well as the iPhone.
Okay. So can I upgrade my Mac?
Well, are you still running Leopard?
I am.
Oh. That's an interesting conundrum.
I was wondering if I could go straight to El Capitan.
Yeah, you probably can. If it's off, and by the way, it's free upgrade. I'm not sure. I think there's an intermediate step you'll have to do to get the App Store on there. Do you have the App Store?
I do have the App Store.
Oh, all right.
I tried El Capitan, purchasing it for free through the App Store, and it just...
it may not become... Your computer may not be capable of it.
Okay, yeah. It's downloading, but it doesn't seem to be downloading, and I've let it download all night.
Yeah. You're going to have to look at the Apple site and see what the compatibility list is, and you may not be able... You're going to be able to go past Leopard for sure. Maybe Snow Leopard, maybe Lion, Mountain Lion. I'm not sure where you're going next. Another big cat, at least. And that will add this Messages capability. But the limitation may be your hardware. Apple has a website with all the compatibility listed there. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Have a great Geek Week and keep calling. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows on the Netcast network. It's called TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You even get your daily dose of tech news with Tech News Today and Tech News Tonight. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.